If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come, bring my spirits up. There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.
Welcome back to my coverage of the Kristin Smart trial. We're back in the Monterey County Courthouse in Salinas, California once again, covering Thursday, February 9th of 2023, as Paul Flores has his status hearing today at 1:30, leading up to the March 10th, 2023, 9 a.m. sentencing hearing. Finally! I can't wait for the March date, but I'm going to cover some things that may or may not delay that. So from May 1996 to February of 2023, which is 3 months shy of the 27-year anniversary, is how long we've been waiting for justice. In Paul Flores' case, murdering Kristin Smart, case number 22CR003712. I attempted to log in to the hearing, but it's restricted just as I expected, but for me, it's always worth a try. Before we get into the details of the hearing, I have some fun facts for you. And all of us that follow Kristin's case know who the lead investigator was, Mr. Clint Cole. And he's headed for retirement after 32 years with the sheriff's office in SLO. He started as a correctional officer in 1990. He has also been a patrol deputy, a school resource deputy, and a sexual assault investigator, as well as senior deputy. In 2017, he was the first investigator assigned to the newly created position of cold case unsolved homicide detective. In 2019, he became the lead investigator on the Kristin Smart case. Sheriff Ian Parkinson said, quote, "He has accomplished much in his 32-year career, and his retirement is well-deserved," end quote. The sheriff also said, quote, "I'm extremely proud of the work Clint has done for this agency, especially with regards to the Kristin Smart investigation," end quote. Detective Cole himself said, quote, "It is very satisfying to see Paul Flores convicted for the murder of Kristin Smart." Cole also said, quote, "I hope I've been able to give the Smart family some measure of justice for Kristin." Coincidentally, Cole's last day will be March 10th of 2023, the same day Paul Flores is sentenced for killing Kristin. Kristin's case is not the only older case that Cole helped solve. He's also credited with solving the 41-year-old murder case from Atascadero of Jane Morton Antunez, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Patricia Dwyer. Cole used DNA technology to solve the murder of Jane Morton Antunez, who was murdered in November of 1977, and Patricia Dwyer, who was murdered in January 1978. These brutal slayings were done mere months apart. Jane was only 30 years old when she was found in the backseat of her car. She had been sexually assaulted and her throat slashed. Patricia was 28 when she was also found with signs of SA, and she was found inside her own home with her throat slashed. Just absolutely brutal. In 2019, the DNA was traced to Arthur Rudy Martinez, who had already been in prison in Spokane, Washington. And in 2014, which was 5 years prior to the DNA link being discovered, he passed away in prison at 65 years old. One has to wonder about other possible victims. Cole also helped with the 2018 murder case of hairdresser Nancy Woodrum. That case was also very scary. She had hired a handyman who ended up murdering her. She was also SA'd. This occurred May 5th of 2018. She disappeared from her Paso Robles home in SLO County, California, and there was an extensive 6-month search for her. Missing posters everywhere. I remember it well. By 2018, Alberto Flores was identified as a suspect and questioned. Did you all catch the last name? No relation to Paul, but still pretty creepy in my opinion. Mr. Flores had been hired to paint Nancy's deck just prior to her disappearance. He eventually led investigators to her body in a secluded area off Highway 58 in rural eastern SLO County. In February 2022, he was found guilty of the murder. He was sentenced to life behind bars without the possibility of parole, and he was 45 years old at the time. So Cole has done a lot to solve cases in our county. Thank you for your service, sir. Cole also thanks his family for their support and says he plans to spend more time with them in retirement. Now back to the other Flores, Paul Ruben Flores. Prior to the hearing, it was expected that Paul and his attorney would appear remotely for the status hearing for an update on his murder case. Of course, we are all anxiously waiting to hear Paul's sentencing following his October 2022 murder conviction for killing Kristin Smart, who was a Cal Poly freshman when she was murdered in May of 1996. Paul's attorney is preparing a motion for a new trial and other post-verdict and pre-conviction motions. They need more time, apparently. And during the hearing, Chris Pavrell, who is the prosecuting attorney, told the court that Kristin's family has a right to see this case to its conclusion after a 25-year wait for justice. Judge O'Keefe originally rescheduled sentencing for March 10, 2023, but warned no more delays would be granted, is what she originally said. The February 9th, 2023 hearing is to make sure everyone is ready to move forward. I already covered Chris Pavrell, the prosecuting attorney, and how he was hired by Monterey County as a lead prosecutor. I covered that in a separate episode. And he's decided to see the Smart case all the way through before he takes his job in Monterey. Paul remains behind bars at SLO County Jail, and his father, Ruben, was acquitted for his role in helping Paul cover up his crimes, so obviously he's a free man. It's been a bit since we've heard from my hero, Chris Lambert, from your own backyard. He updates us and notes that as of February 9th, 2023, Paul's defense has not filed their motion for a new trial. Judge O'Keefe said she intends to proceed, and she doesn't want to put the Smart family in a position of further anxiety, which she stated, quote, "I'm sure they are in right now," end quote. Judge O'Keefe asked if Sanger would be requesting transcripts of the jury selection. Sanger answered, quote, "I think we did request it. We did request it, and there is a reason with regards to a couple of particular individuals," end quote. Sanger claims he has new info regarding the case, but didn't elaborate any further. By the way, I've been reading that transcripts can cost upwards of $20,000. As expected, the hearing on February 9th was held remotely. One surprise was that Sanger did not appear. Instead, retired Santa Barbara Judge Frank Ochoa appeared on behalf of Sanger. Ochoa noted that the motion for new trial is still not complete, but would be filed in time for sentencing. Apparently, Sanger was not able to appear due to a conflict. Deputy District Attorney Pavrell told the court he would strongly object to any further delays and points out that the defense has had plenty of time to prepare any new motions. Judge O'Keefe asked attorneys to review a new probation report, which I find interesting, which she describes as lengthy, and she asked the attorneys to respond with any corrections. The judge also told attorneys that the Smart family is expected to be in court for Paul's sentencing, and if any issues arise before then, to notify the court immediately. I did notice her verbiage seemed to change slightly as she reminded all involved with the case that she would not entertain further delays unless absolutely necessary. Darn it, that's leaving wiggle room, and I don't like that. The Smart family will be allowed to make an impact statement during Paul's sentencing. So far, Kristin's family has not indicated how they expect to address the court at Paul's sentencing. Let's recap and add some updated info that I just found out. Attorney Frank Ochoa appeared on Paul's attorney Robert Sanger's behalf. Ochoa claims Sanger's delay in filing his new trial motion, etc., is because he had to secure funds to order trial transcripts from the court reporter. And I already mentioned in this episode that it can equate to a pretty penny to get those transcripts. And it was weeks and weeks and weeks of trial, so I'm sure it's a pretty big stack. On December 2nd, 2022, Sanger was given 60 days to secure the money needed for the transcripts. The March 10th, 2023 sentencing date remains in place. The judge asked attorneys to review a new lengthy probation report, and it's now been said to be over 100 pages long. I'm wondering what would be in that report. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments, please. What type of things? The Smarts will attend and maybe make an impact statement before the court. Paul stays in SLO County Jail while he waits sentencing in Salinas, where the trial was held after the venue change from SLO County. So we wait some more, anticipating the motion for new trial and praying for sentencing on March 10th, 2023. Let us not forget, Sanger has already asked for mistrials 9 times, and the judge denied all of those requests. We get a smidge more detail regarding the new trial grounds. Sanger says he seeks a new trial over an undisclosed prosecution witness. And does anyone want to guess who that might be? My guess would be either Jennifer Hudson, her friend Justin, or possibly the S.A. Doe victims. Sanger claims he received the new information after the reading of Paul's guilty verdict. If Sanger manages to file his motion for new trial in time, which don't forget he's horrible with paperwork and deadlines, but if he does, Judge O'Keefe will rule on it at the March 10th, 2023 hearing. If O'Keefe denies the motion, sentencing will then take place immediately. If not, Lord only knows. Paul faces 25 years to life without possibility of parole. And I sure hope this part of the nightmare is over soon. We still need to find Kristin, and we all still hold out hope that someone, anyone who knows where she is, will reveal her location. Hashtag find Kristin Smart.
If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come.
Thanks for watching.
Bring my spirits up.
Don't forget to stop and smell the flowers.
There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.